we try and unpick Spurs? I don't even know what to make of them anymore. They stuffed my boys earlier in the season, and you
Mm.
think, yeah, they look really good, and now they sit what? I think they're 11th again now. And I'll be honest, my prediction at the start of the season that Andrew was going to be gone by Christmas. A lot of people, you and Mike laughed at me a little bit. I think it's looking pretty likely, to be honest. I can't see how Spurs improve.
Yeah, they're so inconsistent. The thing is, you look at certain games this season, they've performed really well in some of the bigger games as well. And I mean, there's been similar story actually with Newcastle as well. I think they're a team that have done really well in the big games. Obviously, look at the Liverpool game. Obviously, lost again this weekend. Just to and fro in, and I just think they're very naive in their approach at times. They went 2-0 up in this game. They were so open; it was unbelievable. And they made Chelsea actually, even though Chelsea performed very well at times in this game, they made it so much easier for them than it should have been. I just thought Jadon Sancho and Pedro Neto had an absolute field day. So much space to operate in. Cole Palmer, he's probably the most dangerous player on the pitch. Yeah, it was so easy for him to get space.
Yeah.
And I thought particularly Spurs' midfield was so poor for Pape Sarr, and Basuma was just missing constantly. I think positionally, I thought they were very poor. There was no discipline there. And it was just very straightforward for Chelsea.
Why is Spurs' midfield struggling so much? Is it a lack of depth, a lack of options? Obviously, we know Bentancur is missing. You know that Maddison and Kulusevski kind of playing in midfield offers you creativity and flair, but not necessarily the steel that you need defensively. Does Ange need to kind of look at that system again? Do we think?
I think the system is too adventurous at times. I think it works very well in moments in the game. We saw at the beginning, obviously they took full advantage of Cucurella's mistakes, which are made, and pounced upon them. I think their press actually is very good in moments in games, but I think it's unsustainable to expect that to work over 90 minutes. I think they've been found out on too many occasions, and it's just he struggles to adjust, doesn't he? And it's almost I've got this stubbornness to him side, and I think it's he won't change from plan A to plan B, or whether there is a plan B, because that two of Pape Sarr and Basuma, that's just not enough to go up against that Chelsea midfield. And he highlighted that, Maresca. You could see that definitely looked to take advantage of their system, and he just walked straight into it, really, Ange. I think you could say Spurs were a little bit fortunate to be 2-0 up.
Oh, yeah. They were gifted, really, by the mistakes that Cucurella made. And I think we have to start talking more seriously about what the long-term future for Spurs is and Ange is, because look at West Ham. We've said openly that we think Lopetegui is kind of on incredibly thin ice. If they beat Wolves tonight, we're recording on Monday evening, and if they beat Wolves tonight, they're 2 points behind Spurs after 15 games. So you can't tell me that that's a successful start to the season for Tottenham. They're 11th right now, and he can keep saying, I always win something in my second season, all he likes. But right now, they look miles off it. And there's a degree of sympathy for him. Obviously, the injuries to Romero and Van de Ven really hit them, and now Vicario as well. That's obviously really costly. But ultimately, a really poor summer, it feels like. Pretty poor recruitment, fair to say.
They need another midfielder, that's for certain. Because I almost look at that squad and I think, well, if there's a serious injury to Sarr or Basuma, then what have they got in there? Like they're down.
Archie Gray? Does he start playing midfield more?
Again, quite an inexperienced player. Very talented. Yeah. I think he's top talent. But again, I just feel like they need some seniority, and I think they lack a leader in there, to be honest, in that midfield, massively.
You're not really sure what you think about Ange, though. Do you think he'll stay? Would you keep him?
It's a case of, and I think it was same with Ten Hag. Is it a case of, okay, he gets 5 more games and let's see how he does over these 5 games? It's not going to. Is it really going to get down to he's got this next game and if he wins it, then he buys more time? Because that's how it got to, didn't it? With the extreme with Ten Hag. I think
But your
something's got to
objective for
change. I
Spurs,
agree. Do think something's got to change in that system, and
yeah,
we'll see. That it could, like you say, is jobs on the line, isn't it?
because the objective for Spurs has to be to get back into Europe, right? And on current form and the way that Ange is setting them up and his kind of lack of flexibility, they are miles off that. Like they're never doing that. So that to me is your answer. Do you need to change the manager? Well, yes. We aren't going to meet any of our objectives, so of course we need to find someone who might get us closer to meeting those objectives.
Who's more at danger of getting the sack? That's not my question. Postecoglou, Gary O'Neill, Julian Lopetegui.
I think if West Ham lose tonight, Lopetegui's gone
Yeah.
in the morning. I think if they draw tonight, Lopetegui's gone in the morning. So that obviously puts him in a lot of danger. But I said at the start of the season I couldn't see Ange lasting, and I stand by it. I don't think that's the right fit. He didn't get what he wanted in the summer necessarily. He is very stubborn, and I don't think he's going to adapt to this squad to make something coherent out of it. It's a mess. So yeah, sorry Spurs fans, but it's not looking great.